The question, what is the best way to treat or cope with insomnia? I fight the urge to check the clock. It always says terrible things like 03.38 or 04.29 and never 22.17. Checking the clock just amplifies the anguish that I am awake, have been for hours and will be, quite possibly, forever. What a fictional horror that would make someone who has forgotten how to sleep. Bid, say goodnight to Insomnia Kate Nickel Medium. Apart from that week in 1982, sleep was a neutral presence in my life. I have calculated that I have had 20 different homes since I left the house I was born in, 24 years ago. There have been a wide variety of beds in that time, student mattresses on creaky floorboards, Soviet sofa beds with envelope sheets into which you folded a blanket, a nasty specimen supplied by a cheap landlord that felt like it had been fashioned from a box of rusty spanners tied up with string. I slept like the dead in all of them. But after I had a nervous breakdown in 2009, sleep was one of the first things to go. As I've got better, it has been one of the last things to resolve itself. For the insomniac, different times of the night have different qualities. The time between 10 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. is the golden age that you want to hold and cherish and keep forever. This is the time that you feel nostalgic about when the clock reads 04.29. For at this time, there is still a chance that you will disappear suddenly into the void, and the next thing you know, there will be birdsong and milkmen and dawn tiptoeing into the edges of the room. Still a hope, still a chance. The second phase is unsettling and takes you up until the streets are quiet and the house is cold. Here the feeling is that if you do manage to get off to sleep, all is not lost. The next day will be okay, you will have cause for mild optimism in the morning. And the longer you are an insomniac, the more you recognize that this is your real window. The mind and body, no matter how ravaged, still need sleep, and they'll take it if you let them. As I've got better at this, I would say that as much as 50% of the time I get to sleep during phase 2. But it's difficult. Loneliness and restlessness edge in. It's sad too. These hours of the night used to mean something so different. Fat baselines and firm friendships, the nights when everything was funny and lack of sleep was a badge of honor. Now, it's different. Now I know what Thelonious Monk meant when he wrote "It begins to tell round midnight." After 2 a.m. things get wretched. This is when, if you've been doing this night after night, you start to ask those unanswerable questions. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? What is happening to me? These lines of thinking are catastrophic and totally disproportionate to what is actually going on. It's just a bit of sleep, that's all. I should say at this point that for me, it hasn't been the wakefulness of the busy executive with his deadlines and to-do lists, or the furious restlessness of the self-employed churning over how to get tomorrow's money today. This affliction is all in the passive mood. It all happens to you, like some capricious reflexive verb that has yet to be invented. In Russian, they don't say "I can't sleep." They say, "It isn't sleeping to me." I like that. For a long time now, it hasn't been sleeping to me. Not properly anyway. From 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. you will really fight the thing, like it's actually in the room with you. That's exhausting. After 4 a.m. things could get truly horrible, but by then you're probably so bereft that you will drift off at some point into thin dreams about empty cities and lost causes. But not for long. By now, you're desperate for morning so you can move on, right off the night, hope for better luck next time. A few nights of this is bewildering. Your bones ache like cold plates of uranium. You can feel the shape of your skeleton. You have startling moments of sudden realization, this is me, I am in deep trouble, this is a vicious circle, it won't be resolved. And there is, seemingly, nothing that you can actively do about it. Falling asleep is one of those perverse things that are harder to do the more you try. In general, we have become conditioned to thinking that the more effort we put in, the more we will get out. That's clearly not the case with sleep. Trying to drift off just doesn't work. Sleep is a reflex and needs to happen effortlessly. When it stops happening and you start trying, problems begin.